So I'm with Tiffany Rauch, who's just awesome. And she's another infinite possibilities trainer. And we just worked it out. We met during an icebreaker game in Ventura Beach, California, because we both like holidays on the beach, right? Yes. So Tiffany, we were just chatting about a whole lot of stuff. And I said, which of it are you happy to share? And you said all of it. And I went, cool. So I'll get you to tell the story. Do you mind telling the story of how you got to be an infinite possibilities trainer and what drew you there? I'll just let you tell the story.
Okay, well, probably about 12 years ago, my son's father passed away, and it was really hard on him, and it left a hole that he continually tried to fill, and he tried to fill it with drugs and alcohol and criminal behavior, and it was hard on me, and I wanted to fix him and help him and save him, and I did everything I possibly could think of. And in the process, I ended up saving myself, actually, and learning more about myself, and that we can't save other people, but we can love them and do whatever we can through loving ourselves. And my son ended up homeless for a couple years in Portland, and he taught me how the universe works. He taught me more than I could ever have learned any other way. And learning that I can't save him, and that really, truly the only way we can fill that hole is through self-love. And I learned that for myself. And so he really saved me.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? And you were telling me that you started doing some work with homeless teens because you couldn't reach him. You would just kind of have to wait for him to contact you. So, yeah. Do you want to tell me a bit about that work that you did there? Or you're still doing it, aren't you? Just on a break at the moment. But the reason is another story. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. There were times when I would worry, is he cold? Is he hungry? Is he alive? Is he what's going to happen to him? And I didn't know what to do. I would be so worried and anxious. And so how I dealt with that was I did things for local homeless people here. One of my favorite sayings is, student asked the teacher, I'm discouraged, what do I do? And the teacher says to the student, encourage others. So I would use that, and I would go and do for local homeless people. And I had made a couple friends, and I would bring coffee and breakfast and visit with them and just spend time with them in a roundabout way, knowing the universe would take care of my son in the same way. I collected cans, and they were, and I would bring them on Sunday morning, and they could turn them in for money. And I had all my friends collecting cans with me. So we made some friends that way. And it just felt good knowing that although I couldn't have breakfast with my son or speak to him, I could do it through somebody else, knowing it would eventually get around to him, because that's how the universe works.
Yeah. And at the moment, you're looking after your little granddaughter too, which is...
I am.
So she's his little girl, and you've got full-time custody.
Yes. My husband and I have full-time custody of her. She'll be a year this month.
That's so cool.
2 months.
So you're a full-time mother / grandmother to her, and you've got 9 children in total. And people are looking at you now going, okay, and she doesn't look like she's had a facelift either. She started very young, folks. She started really young. So you've got a really full plate. So in amongst, and I love that you do this whole, giving the love out and giving out what you can, and knowing that it'll benefit yourself and your son, and that through infinite possibilities, you kind of learned that lesson of you can only save others by saving yourself. Yeah. And you've discovered that you have a little bit of a special gift as well. So now you're doing a course, and what's it called? It's called End of Life Doula. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. It's a certification to become an end of life doula, so that I can sit with and support and comfort mentally, physically, spiritually those that will be passing on. and just let them know they're not alone and that they don't have to be afraid, and make that as pleasurable of an experience as possible.
So on the one hand, you've got your little granddaughter and she's what, 1 year old, just about. And then on the other end, you're helping people at the end of their life. So it's a really awesome full circle thing, isn't it?
It is. It is. And I don't feel that death is really the end of our life. It's just a part of it, because it's never ends.
That's right. And the infinite possibilities just ties in with all of that so beautifully. And with the end of life doula, it's like when you were telling me about that before, it really just called you, didn't it? Like when you started the course and you had to make a list and realize that you've been close to about 12, possibly more people that have passed, and you never realized that was unusual.
Yeah, I just never thought of it that way. I had somebody point out to me, they said, Tiffany, you know that doesn't happen to everybody, right? And then I guess I just never thought of it that way. And it's something that, like, I want to do. I'm inspired to be there when, I want to be with somebody when they're passing. I'm not fearful of it. And I don't want them to be alone or fearful, because it's not something that we have to be afraid of.
So what do you think's the crossover? Because you were also telling me about the, like you've got the Facebook support group for parents of teens who are homeless or, struggling with mental illness. And are they all homeless? Is it for kids who have ended up homeless, or just who've become totally disconnected for various reasons?
Some of them are homeless, but mainly it's for moms of children who are addicts or mentally ill.
Cool.
Moms who support moms, of children with addiction and mental illness. Is basically what it is. So we do have a couple of moms whose children are homeless. We have quite a few moms raising their grandbabies because their children are addicts or have had them taken away by the state. So there's just kind of a big mix of us. And then we just have some who have children that struggle with mental illness and, have their own, but it's kind of, we all feel the same way, and knowing we're not alone and that we're not bad moms because our children have struggles, and just, being there for each other and being able to vent, and it's safe. So, yeah.
And it can happen to anyone, right? So you were saying that when you first started sort of reaching out and saying, well, this is what's happened in our family, you realized that there were people you already knew who went, oh, I'm so glad you opened up about that, because same here. So there's quietly suffering and feeling shame and guilt.
Yeah, so many times we're ashamed, or we don't want to let people know of, some of the things that are struggles that we've gone through. But what I've realized is that when I do open up and become vulnerable, and let, say, this is what has happened to me. I've had a son that was homeless, living on the streets for a couple of years. I've had this, I've had that. And it kind of connects me to people more than anything. And connection to me is what life is all about. And that's just the beauty of it all, is just opening up, being vulnerable, and shame can exist, when we shed light on it, like we talked about. It's impossible. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. We're just human, and we're all going through this experience. We're spiritual beings in a human experience.
That's right. Oh, awesome. Tiffany, I can't explain to you how grateful I am that you actually replied to my little email saying, who is happy to be in the 1 in a million spotlight? Because you are way more than 1 in a million. You're 1 in a billion, baby. You shine so much light for so many people in so many ways. And I'm just really, really honored that our paths have crossed and that I get to be connected with you, because you totally inspire me. And you're really right. The more vulnerable we are, the more we allow other people to be okay with themselves and let the light shine. So thank you so much. I'm going to ask you one more question before I wrap it up. So you've got this really wide range of stuff where you help and you support, and you know, everything from the end-of-life doula to caring for your granddaughter to helping other parents with teens who've got, you know, various issues and addiction and so on. So what do you think is the one pervasive or the one message or the one thing that sort of transcends all of that, that you kind of go, right, this is the thing that no matter which of these stages or which of these things I'm working on, that's kind of the essence of it?
I love Brene Brown's quote when she says, when you own your story, you get to write your ending. I just feel like, you know, be you, be who you are, nobody else. Just be you, and you get to write the ending. Thoughts become things. What you focus on, you get more of. Helping others, you know, I think that the more you give, the more you receive, and I totally am a perfect example of that. I am so blessed.
Yeah, you certainly are, and so are we, to have met you and for you to share your story with us. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm going to stop the recording now and then we can keep chatting, right?